Hello, BookTube. I have yet another book haul for you. This is book haul number 10 of 2017. We should do something special on book haul number 17 of 2017. Maybe a giveaway. I've never done a giveaway on this channel because it's just assumed that I will send any of you anything you want and do every day. But maybe something. We'll see. But anyway, I've got a small stack here, and it ends with a box. So that's always good, a classic book haul. We'll start with this thing in a priority mail envelope. So it's probably somebody small. This is probably sent to me just as me. Let's see. Oh, God. I hate this so much. It would absolutely kill you to fold this in two. It's absolutely flush with the envelope. There's no possible way that I'm going to open a package like this without destroying the paperwork that you sent for me to read. It would kill you to fold this in two and tuck it into a book so that I can't possibly do what I just did. Anyway, this is from a small publisher. This is Cow Eye Press. Here, I will do the folding, since apparently that's beyond the mailroom. This is two books. This is Daniel Green, Beyond the Blurb, on Critics and Criticism. Beyond the Blurb is a selection of essays that identifies the most important principles of literary criticism and considers the relevance of those principles in the works of specific literary critics, including James Wood, Harold Bloom, and Susan Sontag. Okay. All right. Daniel Green is a literary critic whose essays and reviews have appeared in numerous publications online and in print. He maintains the literary web blog The Reading Experience, which he created in 2004. Okay. All right. So it's right up my alley. It's about books and book reviewing. And but blurb, if blurb is on the cover, then that probably means, not just formal literary criticism, but actual book reviews. My only quibble with that description on the back is that Susan Sontag, James Wood, and Harold Bloom are each 100 years old. For all the world, as if no one had been reviewing books in the last 100 years. They were all born in the 19th century. so that's all right. They still do good work. All right, so that's Beyond the Blurb, and then the other one is 12 Stories of Russia, a novel, I guess. When an eager American moves to Moscow to teach Russians the difference between the and he begins what will become an eventful 6.5-year descent into the murky entrails of language, culture, and the world's greatest metro system. Part surrealistic travelogue, part historical serendipity, 12 Stories is at its most enduring as a fanciful rumination on the elusiveness of words. It was originally published in Moscow by the independent publisher Gloss, where it quietly gained a following among expats and locals alike. Oh, isn't that interesting? Unique in its appeal to both sides of the linguistic and cultural divide, the work has remained largely unknown beyond Russia, now almost a generation after its narrator's lively quest for the word that changes and is changed. This emphatic novel, I guess, is being released to a wider audience for the first time. Oh, my. Fantastic. All right, so this comes out in May. Great. All right, so it's some sort of underground classic. That's fascinating. Okay, great. All right, so let's see. That's a fine start. I will send that publisher a very appreciative email, and I'll be on my best behavior. I won't yell at them. It would kill you to fold it if you have an envelope like this and you put a piece of paper that's exactly flush with it. What are you expecting is going to happen to that envelope? Who do you think opens them, and how do you think it happens? Is it Lizzie Bennet from Pride and Prejudice? Does she have a little ivory-handled dagger that she very gently take all afternoon if you have to, Lizzie, to open the package exactly perfectly along its edge, and then, oh, what will this be? No, you're sending it to a mail room, essentially. Sorry. Let's just move on, shall we? What have we got here? Okay. All right. This is called All Our Wrong Todays. It's a novel. It's a debut. It comes out when? When does it come out? February 7th? Well, that's a busy date. And it's by Ilan Mastai. All Are Wrong Todays. Who is Ilan Mastai when he's at home? He's born in Vancouver and lives in Toronto with his wife and children. He is an award-winning screenwriter. This is his first novel. It looks like the cat that ate the canary. Okay. All right, well, that doesn't tell me much, but maybe I like that. So what is this? Tom Barron lives in the 2016 that most people in the 1950s imagined we would have, a version of our world where technology has solved all of humanity's problems. Yet Tom can't seem to find his place in this perfect utopia and feels like a constant disappointment to his brilliant but distant father. When the girl of his dreams turns his life upside down, Tom does what you do when you're heartbroken and have a time machine. Something stupid. He finds himself stranded in what seems to him to be a terrible dystopian alternate reality, what we immediately recognize as our 2016. The all-too-familiar real world. Tom is desperate to fix his mistake and return to the 2016 he knows, with its moving sidewalks and flying cars. The summary goes on from there, but tell me you're not hooked. Already, I am absolutely hooked. Oh my God. All right. All Are Wrong Todays. Fantastic. All right. It's moving sidewalks and flying cars. You can look at old science fiction movies. That is absolutely true. We'll move on here. Okay. All right. This is a Penguin paperback of The Girl from the Metropolitan Hotel by Ludmila Petrushkaya. The New York Times, the blurb on the cover says, one of Russia's best living writers. Didn't stop her from doing a book starting with The Girl Who. So I almost threw her across the room right then, but I've got sleeping dogs here. I didn't want to alarm them. But I am not going to read any book with this title. So this could be written by God on Mount Sinai. And the girl who had the Ten Commandments, and I wouldn't read it. I'm absolutely disgusted by the fact that 2016 saw, at last count, 170 books that start with the girl who. I'm absolutely disgusted by that. In an entire lifetime of watching the publishing industry, I've never seen a fad so cravenly universal. This book might be good. This is growing up in communist Russia. And it's a memoir. In 1938, the author's Russia's premier contemporary fiction writer was born inside the Metropole Hotel, Moscow's most famed resident building, which in the aftermath of the Bolshevik Revolution 100 years ago was renamed the Second House of the Soviets. To reside in its legendary halls, which have been featured in famous Russian novels like The Master and Margarita, and most recently by American author Amor Towles in his current New York Times bestseller Gentleman in Moscow, was like having a mailing address at the Buckingham Palace. Shortly after the author's birth, however, she and her family of Bolshevik intellectuals were deemed enemies of the people and cast out into Moscow's streets to live among prostitutes, beggars, and the homeless. Okay, that does sound good. So this is a paperback release. Comes out February 7th. Good Lord, that's a busy date. Okay, so what will happen to this? Why would Penguin bring it out as a paperback with a name that big? Or did I miss it? Maybe they brought it as a hardcover a while ago and I just missed it. It's got tons of blurbs on it, so maybe that's what happened. Well, anyway, let's move on. A couple of Russian themes, right? The girl from the Metropole Hotel, and that Russian novel, I guess. That's interesting. Okay, then we have Autumn House Press. Autumn House Press. This is another debut novel. It's Heavy Metal by Andrew Burrell. We'll deal with the late day glare there. And this comes out at the beginning of February. and is a real gut punch of a novel. It sings with energy and beauty and honest abandon about grief and hope and trying to find one balance in an unsteady world. At a certain point, spoiler alert, the young narrator shoots a bottle out of the sky. The glass explodes like a bottle rocket, as he tells it, the shards glinting in the firelight underneath the gray-lit sky. The same can be said for this novel and Family, both of which explode like a bottle rocket, the shards glinting and the firelight underneath the gray-lit sky. Okay, that was a blurb by William Lyacek, the author of The Architect of Flowers, in case you need to know who's responsible for that. I think this is some sort of YA novel. Well, anyway, I'll figure it out. Autumn House Press. Something about that is nagging at me. I don't know what it is. Anyway, though, heavy metal. And then we move on. We've got a few more to do here. What have we here? Oh, okay. Good. I requested this. This is a historical novel about the Empress Matilda. Matilda Empress. This is by Lisa Aaron, and it comes out in the spring, but when? When does this come out? Okay, you don't want to tell me when this comes out. March 14th. Matilda, the 12th century Empress of the Holy Roman Empire and daughter of King Henry I, is 24 years old and a widow. She returns to inherit her father's double realm of England and Normandy, but is promptly married against her will to Geoffrey, a minor continental nobleman. Absent from England at the time of her father's death, Matilda loses her throne to her cousin Stephen, despite their ongoing and secret love affair. For almost 20 years, anarchy reigns throughout the empire when Christ and his saints slept. And their illicit passion fluctuates between hatred and obsession. The only hope is the Empress's growing faith and their illegitimate son, whose rightful claim to the English throne could finally end the bloody, endless war. In the vein of Philippa Gregory's The Other Boleyn Girl, Matilda Empress illuminates the real history of the early English monarchs while exploring what is at stake when a strong woman at the center of great upheaval refuses to play by the rules laid out for her. Very good. Very good. The Empress Matilda is, I mean, the publicity material is right. She's absolutely ripe for an epic novel of her own. She's had quite a few. Her story is unbelievable. Hairneck escapes, bawling out armed men, and a tremendous amount of physical courage. Great, okay. So this comes out in March. And this is also a debut novel. Fantastic. All right, so meaty historical fiction. Gotta love that. It's been a while. All right, and then we'll move on. We've got this one to do. What have we here? The Horseman by Tim Pears. I'm never been quite sure how you say his name. The Horseman follows the life of 12-year-old Leo Sercombe as he grows up on an estate in the forgotten valley on the Devon-Somerset border. Set in the year 1911, The Horseman is set firmly in pre-war years, a time when the traditional pastoral life is untouched by the chaos of the First World War. Leo is the son of Albert Sercombe, a farmer on the estate of Lord Prideaux, and his entire family helps work the land. Leo is a quiet, unassuming young boy, fascinated by animals, and, to the chagrin of his mother, largely indifferent to his school learning. A talented rider, he spends his time helping his father in the fields and the stables, dreaming of a job on the master's stud farm. Okay, so this comes out in late February, and it is A Boy and His Horse. Sounds a lot like Man-O-War, a cherished old novel that I think is probably now completely forgotten. All right, so The Horseman. Interesting. All right, another historical novel. That's fine by me. And then we end with a box. For now, a 10th mail haul of the year. What have we got here? Oh, it's a package within a package. It's always a little creepy. Oh. Why the box wasn't good enough alone, I have no idea. Such a hardship to open something like this without a muscular teenager. Oh, great. This is the physical copy of something that I've shown you already. Wait for Me, by Carolyn Leach. This is her YA novel about a young girl on a Scottish farm who falls in love with the dreamy German teenage prisoner of war who comes to her father's farm. And I loved it. I thought it was really quite good. So that's fantastic. So we have, let's get all this junk out of here. We have Wait for Me, which we've seen before, the YA novel. Then we have The Horseman, a historical novel about a boy and a horse. Then Matilda Empress, a novel about the Empress Matilda. Heavy Metal, from Autumn House Press. The Girl from the Metropole Hotel by Ludmila Petrushkaya. Then All Are Wrong Todays by Elan Mastry, a debut novel. Then Beyond the Blurb by Daniel Green on critics and criticism. Then 12 Stories of Russia, a novel, I guess, Samizdat classic that I can't wait to get to. And that's it. This is yet another varied and interesting book haul. That's fantastic. So that'll be it for now. I'll see you soon. Thank you, BookTube.